All right. So today I have Nate Santos of Santos Bros Plumbing with me because Nate is a client and I have watched him be quite a self promoter, which takes anything that marketing does and really blasts it up to another level. And I wish every business, every plumbing business that we worked with had these skills. And so wanted to go through a little bit about what makes him tick. Nate, I want you to give me a little bit of table setting here. Like you kind of call yourself a natural promoter to some degree, but where did that come from? Like, because I know it's part of your history. I want to make sure that we set the stage
Yeah.
for people.
Well, yeah. First off, I want to thank you, Tyler, for inviting me and having me be a guest on your show. Like you mentioned, my name is Nate Santos. I'm the owner of Santos Rose Plumbing. We're a plumbing company, service and repair, based out of Paso Robles, California. That's on the Central Coast. And to your question about self promoting and that kind of a thing, I think it's something that I grew up with. You've met my dad. He is a performer. He sings música ranchera, mariachi style, and he does a show where he performs. He's singing on horseback while the horse is dancing, and the mariachi band is playing music. So growing up with him, helping him with that, he was real big on me not being shy, saying hi to people, shaking their hands. And that from a young age, I think I was like 11, 12 years old, the first time I started like speaking on a mic at a wedding to introduce my dad and like introducing the bride and groom type of thing and like being kind of an MC. Yeah. So I started at a young age, and like at church when I was a little kid, like at 3, 4 years old, I would sing on stage with other kids. So that's kind of thing where that comes from. I was just raised with it.
So it was a muscle memory sort of thing after a while. I guess your dad kind of like forced you to grow that skill set.
Oh yeah, he didn't give me a choice.
Yeah.
He didn't give me a choice. And then he really, really wanted us like to sing also how he sings and performs, and he like tried to force that on us. And I remember there's a song that I learned in Spanish. It's called La de la Mochila Azul. It's about a girl. It's a young boy. He's singing mariachi style music, and he's talking about the girl with the blue backpack. And so he sings as a boy how he's noticing the girl with the blue backpack hasn't been in class and he misses her. It's like a love song. He's a little boy. And he made me learn that song, and I performed it in front of my family. And I was like, oh man, I'd be like 5 or 6 years old. My dad's playing his guitar, and I learned the song, and I'm like singing it. So I've being put forth to do that has made me not be shy.
So, and I think that is I mean, most plumbers don't grow up with that skill set, right? Most of the guys who end up plumbing, like they are not that kind of a social butterfly. They usually aren't performers. Some are, but I think you're kind of an exception in that. But what I've seen, like, so to give the audience a little bit of perspective, like last year I went and shot a bunch of like photos and video with you, and it was really cool to watch you interact with people. So at one point, like in the downtown square, we just had you circle your van so that way we would get footage. But then at one point we parked the van and we were just getting shots of you in the van or whatever, but you drew people in. It was kind of like, it seemed like it was intentional. I didn't tell you to do it. You just kind of like knew this was an opportunity.
Improv.
Yeah, it was improv, but like it was super helpful because now we had people. But like what drives you to be that? And like how did you like what advice would you give to somebody who would like want to be that but then not be able to because they're a little bit bashful or shy about it?
Yeah. So along with my dad making me, kind of incentivizing us or pushing me to, perform, I also really always liked theater in school. So in elementary school, I was in a couple of plays. I was actually had the lead role of the monster in our 6th grade Halloween play. And I'm bummed out because I actually got sick and I didn't get to, do the play. I was bummed out, but I was in play in junior high. And then high school, I still took theater through all of high school, but you're kind of going through a phase in high school and who you hang out with and your friends and that kind of a thing. I'm sure played a little part of it, but also as much as I like plays and acting, they were more big into musicals. And I think singing on its own is cool. Dancing on its own is cool. But when you're doing singing and dancing, that's just not for me. So I didn't participate in any of the high school plays. But so I always enjoyed the whole like acting part of the thing. And that's kind of what I've kind of seen with some of this with the plumbing and the whole promoting and the marketing, kind of, setting up like how we did. We did the photo shoots, and I got the backdrop of the truck and it's cruising around town. And I'm waving at the camera. I enjoyed it. And as far as like some advice that I can give to some guys that don't maybe doesn't come natural for them is you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because you're getting out of your comfort zone. And one of the things that I can recommend off the top of my head is different networking events. Like you have to go out there and make it a point to at least shake and talk to 10 different people, get at least 5 phone numbers type of a thing, and then always increase that. And another one, as far as networking goes, here locally in our town, there's a couple different Toastmasters, and that's really just based off around speaking and communication. And when you're shy and you're uncomfortable having conversations with people, that's something that can help out. I've gone to a few of those just because I enjoy the whole conversating thing,
Yeah. No, we have Toastmasters here too. And that's something I've never done it, but I've always been curious about it. But I do think like speaking in front of people, it's like it is a muscle. Like the more you use it, the easier it gets. And I feel like that kind of performance even lends itself to social media, right? That's another thing I've seen, especially lately from you, is like you're making more social videos.
Yes, I started doing that a little bit more lately.
And so do you do anything to like gas yourself up before you like start the camera, or are you just at the point now where you're like, nah, let's just go?
So that's a really good question. And right before we got, went live, and you had asked me about like, dude, I've been seeing you post these push-up videos lately. Like, what's up with that?
Mm-hmm.
So I told you I got that from a buddy of mine. Shout out to him, Austin Yarbrough, and his moving company, Central Coast Moving. But he was the one like, dude, you gotta do more content. You gotta get in front of the camera. I was like, dude, I just get kind of shy sometimes. As much as I like doing this, I do get kind of shy sometimes. He's like, no, this is what you gotta do. You gotta bust out 10, 20 push-ups, get your blood flowing, get pumped, and then do your shot. And so I've done that multiple times. Not every time that I've recorded a video, but several times I've done that. I'll do some push-ups, get the energy flowing, get the blood kind of moving, feeling pumped, catch my breath, and what's up, everybody? Nate Santos here. Santos Rose Plumbing, just do the whole 9.
Well, I can tell because they come across my feeds, and like I can tell that like I don't want to say practice because that sounds like, oh yeah, you wrote this thing out, but like you're a natural in some ways, right? So like, is there like when you do those, how often do you re-record? How often do you go like, oh, that one wasn't good, let me do that again?
So I'm proud to say that I don't really go past like 2, maybe 3 takes, and then some of them are like first take.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel good about. Like, all right, sweet, that was good. Or like I'll start it off and then I'll stutter or something, or I don't say it right, and then I'll start over. But like I seldomly do a whole video and then redo it again. That doesn't really happen that often. But it'll be like a take 2, take 3. If it's taking me past like take 3, I'm like, all right, I gotta get this job done. Or like, maybe it's not the right. I don't think I've even had that really happen. It's really like, within the first couple takes. Some of those videos have been first take and it worked out.
So, okay. And if people want to see them, you can go to like your Facebook page for the business.
Yeah. Facebook or Instagram. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so it's
and feel free to use what I've used, guys. I mean, I found you because of your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on a podcast talking about how he has used social media to create memes and push his business. What I did, and I've told Jared this, I was like, dude, I went to your page, bro, Instagram, and I literally screenshot like my first weeks of content that I posted on my plumbing business page was your content, and I put my brand, my logo over your logo. And then my creative mind started working, and I started kind of using the movies and quotes that I like and kind of, combining them to whatever little meme I could come up with. And those were a lot of fun.
Yeah. Like, I think that's just trying to like be part of the the general trend of the conversation, right?
Mhm.
Like capitalizing on like the fun of it. It's not salesy to that degree, but I feel like your ability to say, I'm going to make a video, and the fact that it actually hits the feed is also a bit of it gives you an edge. So like, have you ever recorded something and gotten it edited or whatever? I don't know how you do your editing. And just been like, nah, I don't know if I want to publish this. Have you ever had that nervous hiccup of like, maybe I'll wait on this one?
No, I haven't had that with creating videos. I'm using a CapCut. I don't know if you know
Yeah,
CapCut.
CapCut's great. I love CapCut.
And I learned about it at the Tradewinds event. Shout out to all the guys from Tradewinds, Mitch and Dave out there in Tradewinds. They're the ones that set up that event out in Missouri and Kansas City, Missouri.
That's right. Yeah.
And Nick Stanton, I think he does pressure washing based out of Georgia, and he was one of the speakers and talked about creating content and organic growth on social media. He's like, dude, check out this app, and he downloaded it and he showed me how it works and how there's this feature where you're talking and then you can sync the audio of you talking to the words popping up, and I was like, oh, that's how all those guys are doing that.
Yep.
That's so cool. So I started messing with that. And I've only done like maybe since I got that app, maybe it's got to be less than 10 videos. Like I'm still not as active as I'd like to be, but it's probably like around there.
So if you want a very interesting thing to try, there's a app called Captions on iPhones at least. And I think now you can do it through the web browser too, but it does all the transcripting, all the animating, all of that. And it has what I find just like fancier options for subtitles. On top of that, they have something called AI edits. So what it'll do is it'll take your footage, it'll do the punch ins, punch outs, it'll add like AI images on top of it in order to give you B-roll. Like you almost just load your clip after you've cut the main reel down. After you do that, you upload it in, and then poof, you have yourself almost a complete piece right then and there. Amazing.
Check it out.
Yeah, you should try it. Let me know what you think. So
that is pretty cool.
Yeah, what you can do with these phones is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So I've noticed like that natural promoter part. Yes, it comes out in social. You mentioned though, like some of the community stuff. I think that a lot of guys are nervous to start community events. Like, what are some things that you've done with Santos Bros, like in order to maintain sort of like the community engagement? Because you're part of some events.
Yeah. So again, with going back to like my dad and his music and performing, he's performed at local community events since before I started the business, and with the horses. And I really love all the horses. I like the whole country life that we have going on, and I wanted to incorporate that into our business. And I think it's worked well for us because we've been involved with community events. One of the things that I want to touch on real quick to help guys get noticed in the community is let's get away from that truck that's plain white with the one pipe wrench and an arm.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
Yeah, it was funny. I remember when you were here in town, you snapped a picture of a local truck, and you're like, "Oh man, I'm glad you don't have a logo like that." You know, and I was like, "Hey, no, he's a good guy. I know him, and I think he's working on switching some things up." But like starting off with that, like your branding and having your logo be colorful. I'm stoked that in my head I had come up with the idea, and by the time I got to you guys, when I first started following Jared, signed up for his coaching program, then you're his brother. Marketing had to sit down with you, and I'm checking out your stuff, and I'm like, I already have the truck branded and it's all colorful, and I got the avatars. And one of the videos you really talk about like the face of the avatar having eyes and a smile and how people really resonate with that. I'm like, dude, I got that right there going. So with that, it kind of helps you just stand out in the community. People are gonna be like, oh, look at those trucks. Oh, that new plumbing company. Oh, that's such a cool truck, such a cool color. It's vibrant. It's kids like it, and kids like, mommy, look at that truck. And they're your promoters too. And if the kids like you, the parents will be like, I'm gonna call those guys because my kids like him, and always give them fist bumps and like, hey, what's up, big guy? And this and that, or whatever. That helps you out. And then back to the whole horses thing. We've already been participating in. Oh,
before you get to, that's precisely what I meant. Like the fist bumps and like the way that you interact with the crowd, like you do crowd work as a plumber with just like walking in town. Like, it's amazing.
That's what you were saying earlier. When we were doing the photo shoot in town, where you're taking pictures of me, and then there were some people there standing. I'm like, hey, you guys want to come in and get on this picture? And you're like, okay.
It was, I mean, it was great for me because it gives me better content to like snap, but like to watch you do it was so much fun.
Well, I remember one of the group of ladies, they were watching, and some of them had like flannel shirts on. I think one of them matched kind of my shirt that I had. I had a black and red one. I'm like, look, we have matching flannels. Can you get on the picture with me? They're like, oh yeah. They jumped up, the ladies did. And then there was a kid walking by, and he had a cowboy hat. I had a cowboy hat. I'm like, hey, bro, you want to get on this picture with that cowboy hat? He's like, okay. And he jumped in.
Well, and like I remember his mom was there, and like she was like, oh, this is fun or whatever. Like there was this natural warmth that came out of that. And yeah, it starts with the brand, but then what you're doing, the brand is like the beacon, right? And then what you did was, rather than just be like, here's my brand, here's my sign, and now I'm waiting for people to come meet, you drew people in at that moment. Like, so you were there like, hey, you want to take a picture? Like that is something that people don't do. And it's such an opportunity because not only it helped me get a photo for like marketing materials or things like that, right? It also helps create sort of like this mythos of who you are in the community. Like, especially for residents who are there, who have that interaction with you. Think about how deep that is. Like, you guys were side by side.
You use the word warm. The word warm is what you use. I think that's a really good way to describe it. And at the end of the day, like, yeah, we're plumbers. We're out there to fix their problems. But what customers, the homeowner really cares about is like how we make them feel. You know, how is our interaction with them? You know, they don't care about plumbing at the end of the day, because if they did, they would know what they were doing and they wouldn't have called us. They called us because we're the professionals, because they saw our truck around, because someone referred them to us, because they went to Google, they saw our reviews, they saw our logo, they've seen our trucks already, they've seen us on social media. We go out there and it's our job to just, provide them. I'm really big on just customer service. Like, I enjoy that as part of the business so much more. You can tell by how we're talking and how much, I like to talk to people. I do that a lot more, and people care. The customer cares more about that interaction than what you do, running a cable machine in the backyards with a clean out. They're not even around to watch.
What I need you to do is I need you to go into my socials and comment on everybody who says otherwise. Because I've had people be like, you just need to do good work. That's the only thing you need. And I'm like, no, there's more.
No, that's wrong. No, I'll give you an example, man. I used to work with my uncle's company. It was the funniest thing. Me and my brother we're both very personable. We're both very charismatic, and we like talking to people. And it's just customer service based off previous work history. Working at KFC and taking orders, customer service. I worked at Home Depot in the aisles, helping people find their product, walking them to the aisle, help them load their stuff, smiling at them, thanking them, all the good stuff. Make sure they had all the stuff that they needed to complete their job. It stayed with me. Got to plumbing. We're going to customers' homes. Hi, how you doing? How was your weekend? Oh, right on. That was fun. Oh yeah, I've been there before. Oh, that restaurant, the new one. Yeah, I want to go check it out. You recommend it? Just talking to them, having an interaction. They care more about that than the work that we're doing. And I remember one of my uncles that I was working with, he'd be like, why are you talking so much? Stop talking to them. Just get to work. And then these people are giving me like $50 tips, $20 tips, $100 tips. And then he throws a fit within like a couple of months. My brother and I had received over $100 worth of tips, multiple different transactions. And he's like, I've been doing this for 7 years. I've never got a tip once. I was like, yeah, but you also are just quiet in your zone and don't engage the customer. They're like, okay, this stranger was just here, and I guess clog my toilet. That's kind of weird. I'll make it about talking the toilet. Make it about having an awesome, cool conversation with the homeowner.
Yeah, I think that's a huge missed opportunity for a lot of people. Like, and this is true of, I've seen this true of young businesses that are just starting, and of seasoned businesses, where they don't prioritize the experience. And I think that's where you're really like leveling up and doing things that other people don't, because it's so sticky when you do that. You're so good at it. Like I've seen it in person, and then I've listened to it on the phone. It's great. So I think it's a skill set that I wish everybody had. Are there any, and I don't know if this is true of you or not, but are there any exercises that you do to try and maintain your level of fearlessness into those interactions, or something that you would recommend that people try?
Nothing that I
Push-up?
specifically do. Oh, do you say something? Well,
Push-ups, just lots of push-ups.
yeah, that was a tough one for me to do, to be posted on social media. But for me, nothing specifically that I do to kind of help keep that alive, other than really just continuously going and being part of different community events or networking events. And it's tough. I think it's real tough for someone when you're just starting out and you're just, the one chuck in the truck, so to speak. And when I was doing that, and I was just myself doing that, I would prioritize the call that came in versus the networking event that was going on.
Mm.
However, I have my brother helping with me. That's alleviating some of the work that I'm doing. And I've joined a BNI here locally, Business Networking International. That's first thing in the morning, 8 a.m. So I'm able to go, spend an hour or an hour and a half there. And that's a really good one, because that, depending on the size of the group, hopefully it's at least 15, 20 people. Some groups can get a little bit bigger from what I've heard. You're on rotation and you're doing an in-person presentation about your business. And I would encourage any guys listening to this to sign up for something like that. It's going to be uncomfortable. Get out of your shell, and don't make that presentation so much about your business. Like, cool, you're a plumber, you fix leaks and do repipes and unclog toilets. People don't care about that. They want to know who you are, what you're about, where you come from. Make the presentation about yourself, a little history about you, what you like to do, your dogs, your pets, your family. Then briefly about plumbing, because oh, this guy's a cool person. His kids are beautiful. He's got a beautiful family. I have a golden retriever also. This guy has a good like for dogs or whatever. Us people care more about.
I love the setting the stage of like, this is what I care about as a human, and then this is the business that I do, because that value system of you as a human transfers over to the work you do, and then you become a hireable entity, right?
Yep.
So, and it's the same reason why, like, I don't like it when I'm talking to a plumber and they're like, yeah, so I posted this water heater job the other day and it's like a picture of a water heater. I'm like, great. Where's your face?
No one cares. There's this awesome picture of my brother after we just did a water heater install. He's like leaning forward. He's got this big old like thumbs up smile. Like, people like that, they don't care about the water heater.
Nope. It's like set dressing in the background, right? They care about the person and the experience they're going to have way more. I feel like I interrupted you a little bit on your community engagement stuff, like the things that you do.
Okay.
Like the BNI is a good one, but like, what other sort of events like do you try and do?
So, because I think I had mentioned that earlier, I got a little distracted. My dad, with his music and with our horses that we have, before our business, we would just participate in local parades. So here in Paso Robles, there's a local Pioneer Day parade in October. In the next town over, there's a Templeton 4th of July parade for Independence Day. And this is just something that we would do for fun. A group of guys with our horses, we dress up in our charro hats and the bow ties like Mexican, and we'll have music going through town and the horses are dancing. And because I like that so much and I'm so passionate about that, I wanted to incorporate that into my business whichever way I could. And what I came up with is having our work truck fully branded, logoed out, phone number, hauling the flatbed trailer with the live music, whether it's a mariachi band or a banda, cruising through town during the parade and our horses dancing around it. And it's like, it adds, there's a word or phrase to it. Because we've been doing the dancing horses for so many years in the community in different towns. People know us as those guys with the dancing horses. So once we threw the truck in there, and they're like, "Oh, I called you because I saw your truck with the dancing horses. Oh, you're the guys with the dancing horses. Like that's why I called you." And it's just the branding. Like they're seeing our truck in the parade, and it's like we've been around before this business, and we're planning on sticking around, to grow this business. Like we're not like we're just not just doing this to see how it goes. Like we're committed to growing this and being part of the community, and I think people like that also.
I think when it comes to, especially like the way you've tuned that, is you're basically doing it like a transference of goodwill, right? A little bit. So you've got this built-in reputation that you're able to tap into out of pure opportunity, right? Because then you started a business. So then you're like, all right, I'm going to attach my brand to this too. And I think that people underestimate the power of that goodwill that can come from just helping the community throw an event that is fun for everybody, and how that gets attached, like those subconscious feelings of the psychological profile of, man, this is a great event, I'm having fun, I got popcorn and a hot dog or whatever it is, and there's these guys, and then 6 months later they wake up, they've got a problem, and they go, I'll call those guys that I saw at the parade. Right?
And it's great. Like, it's not even like, yes, 6 months later, I saw them there. They're really cool. And I think now we're going on, this year's going to be the 3rd year that they see our branded trucks in the same parade again. And next year will be the 4th year, then the 5th year. And they're already seeing our ads and soon to come a billboard of us with our logo and our flyers in the mail. And then they see us being part of the community events. I'm in a small town. I think that resonates a little bit more, I think, and I could be wrong. I mean, it might also have an impact in major cities. It just depends on, I don't know how it goes, but because we're so small town and community and everyone knows each other, so, well, these guys are part of the community events, let's call them.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're right. It's the combined effect of everything. But I do love having, you're going to run ads. Yeah, you're going to have like things that you paid for that are straight up advertising.
Yeah.
But if that's the only thing you do, the community just feels like you're all you are as a business. And there's other factors to it. Like, like you said, the branding is a big one about how you're perceived. But when you attach yourself to the community, it becomes, oh, those are the guys who care about this town that we live in together. And I think that's really powerful. And I love the fact that you're doing it every year and you're consistent, because that's the other thing. Some people will be like, well, I did this one event once 2 years ago.
I would recommend guys, like if you're not already doing it, or if you're thinking about doing the whole, maybe some local parades, don't just do it like because of the business. Like be authentic about it and actually care about your community. Like just be real about that. And you brought up events, and I had almost forgot, but I also did another event. It's called the Stacy Strong Golf Tournament, and it's a cancer awareness, raising funds for people that are struggling with paying their medical bills due to cancer. Like being involved in those sort of events and having you set up your work truck there, or do a little demo of something. Home shows is another one too. I did one last year. I'm doing one at the end of this year, and just being engaged and be authentic to actually wanting to be part of the community. Don't just, if you have a business and you're in a business just to, like you said, just to market and just be only a business, and you don't care about your business, about your community, the people that are keeping you in business, people kind of frown upon that sort of vibe.
I think they can suss it out. And it leaves an open opportunity for another business to work just as hard as you, just as have just as strong of a brand, but it leaves another company an edge to fill that gap in the community if you don't take it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big deal. So going into like how you personally handle things, I remember listening to one of your calls, and I know it's happened again multiple times because you're account manager. Like we record your calls, and I remember at one point I was going through your calls and I listened to you pick up the phone, And this is a common call when you start running advertising, is you start getting calls for other plumbers because people move fast on the internet. They just start punching things. And so you had this woman who called and she was like, "Oh, I was looking for this plumber." And you were able to convert that call to you.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a missed opportunity for a lot of people, where they aren't even trying. Like earlier today or over the weekend, I was listening to other calls more recently, and their CSR would pick up the phone. "Oh yeah, I was looking for this plumber. Oh, we're not that plumber. Okay, bye." You didn't let that happen. Can you talk to me about like how you capitalize on those opportunities when they come forward?
Well, my mental frame and just thought process on that whole situation as a plumbing business owner is like, how could you not convert that to you? Like, why? Like, why, when someone calls you because you're a plumbing company, not knowing that you're the other plumbing company that they've used before, because they have a plumbing issue and they want to get that resolved, why would you be okay with them calling someone else? Like, that's my whole thought process with that. So it when someone, and it's happened a few times, you're right. I think you shared that one audio with some of the people in uh, the Wealthy Plumber course one time. But yeah, they called asking for a different plumber, and I was honest. That's not me. However, I can help you today. What do you have going on? And just killing them with customer service and kindness, and like, how are you? What's going on? And tell me about what you have going on. Once you start having that conversation and they're explaining to you this and that, I was like, okay, well, I can just schedule today between this time and this time, or this time and that time. They're like, well, actually, I don't need you until this day at this time. I'm like, okay, let me check on my calendar. I'm like, oh yeah, I have that available. I can schedule you right now. And the one lady that you're talking about, I actually just listened to it a few weeks ago with my brother, because like right now, for example, I have forwarded calls to him, and I'm like, here, listen to this. So in case anyone ever calls us, this is how you handle it. And at the end of the conversation, she's like, well, you know what? You were such a delight. I had a good time talking to you. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with you.
Yep.
Boom. And I already collected all their information, first and last name, email address, street address, so then I can retarget them in other ways.
It was masterful. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. But I thought you did a very good job with it, and you kept the conversation going. You didn't allow her to just say okay and hang up. And you did it in a way that really did take care of her.
Yeah.
And so and now I would imagine every time you do that, that's a customer that you never have to try and get again, especially if it's a paid lead. And then you get to keep her for 5 to 7 years because she loves you so damn much. Like, it's great.
That's the goal. You want repeat customers.
Yeah. And so I really commend you for like the natural promoter in you, which, let's face it, from this, like, you learn it's not natural, you were trained, right? Which means other people can pick up these skills.
Totally.
Practice.
Just how we learned.
Yeah. And like, so the most, like, I would hope that most people who watch this like start thinking about like what they need to do to increase the effectiveness of their interactions. Like, you're very good at it.
I'd like to toot my horn a little bit, man, while we're still here, and it just on the whole phone call thing. So I was at the gym a few weeks back, and I walk in and I'm about to like swipe in my card. I get a call. I step back. I answer it. I'm talking, and the lady at the desk, she was like blown away. She's like, "Oh my god, you are really good. You're so nice, this and that." And I'm speaking to this customer, this lady, and the reason I remember, and I'll do this throughout any call that I get, if it's something that kind of triggers me, a little light bulb, something, or they have a cool last name, I'm like, "Oh, that's a cool last name." And never heard that before. It's original. That makes them feel good, because sometimes people get shy about their names because people can't pronounce it or whatever. So that's a really good one. This lady, her name was Sherry. And there's an oldie song. I think it's by the Isley Brothers. Sherry baby. Ooh, Sherry baby. And I was like, oh, Sherry, like the song. And I started singing it with her, and the lady loved it. It's just little things like that. I enjoy doing those sort of things.
Well, I think you infuse fun into those interactions, and it's great.
Oh, like Sherry liked the song. I love that song. I started singing it for her. She loved it, and that was I think that was like a toilet install, and she loved. My brother went to go do the job, and my brother's like, "Oh, that lady was super cool. She loved this."
Yeah,
so, yeah.
That's the thing. It increases the customer experience. It increases your conversion rate. Like all the math stuff stacks up. But really, what ultimately, Nate, the best thing about it is you're really good at being a human to other humans, right?
That's what it comes down to, I think.
Yeah, and it's like that's business in a nutshell. But some people just like they don't think about that part of building the company.
Yeah.
And I think you've done a commendable job of like working that through.
Thank you.
So I want to wrap us up because we're sitting at 36 minutes. But if do you have any sort of like parting words based on like all of this that you think people should know?
I think any guys, I'll reiterate, any guys that are having a hard time with this side of the business, I encourage you to be involved in networking events. Like, give yourself the homework to go out there and shake the hands of people, talk to them, introduce them. There is a book, and I like it, and as I read it, a lot of it made sense. Is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah, it's a great book. Cool.
Check it out. Go out there and if you want to check out my content, and if any of it works for you, and you want to make it your own style, you can find our Instagram is Santos Bros Plumbing. It's the same for Facebook, and then you can follow me also on Instagram. I use them both. The Real Nate Santos.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to ask you that, so thank you. Cool. Sure. All right. Well, thanks, Nate, for coming aboard and giving us some insights on it. I think that what you do is valuable for people to know and to practice and to sort of develop their own skill set on. So I appreciate it.
Sweet. Thank you, Tyler. I was happy to be here.
Let me tell you the tale of Tyler Williams, the marketing man. Born beneath the northern glow, through icy winds and endless snow, one dark night, disaster came, a plumbing failure, a world in shame. Searching online, no ads in sight, no plumber answered in the endless night. The pipes burst wide, the earth gave way, his home was gone, his mother lost. With fists clenched tight to the frozen sky, Tyler made a vow, a marketing cry. Plumbers shall rise, their name shall stand, I will forge their fate with my own hand. Plumbers shall rise, their name shall stand, I will forge their fate with my own hand. Tyler Williams, the marketing man, with cosmic power he built the plan. Fire in his eyes, campaigns in his hand, he builds lost plumbers across the land. From frozen wastes to city skies, plumbers thrive where legends rise. Alone through ice and stone, the Alaskan wilds became his home. He fought off bears with furious might and carved a shelter through the night. But cold winds whispered, his breath ran thin, he stumbled weak, his strength grew dim. Then through the storm a shadow tall, a mighty mammoth, a titan's call. I am Mark, the marketing mammoth. Tyler, your time has come. I will teach you the cosmic secrets of persuasion and advertising, ancient marketing magic lost to time. Through my wisdom you shall rise, and the world will always find a plumber in their time of need. Tyler Williams, the marketing man, born of the wild with a mammoth plan. He bends the stars, he shakes the sky. For plumbers lost, he lifts them high. With words like thunder, ads like fire, he turns their dreams into empires. No more shadows, no more doubt. With mammoth power, he pulls bills out. For 35 years through frost and fate, he studied with Mark, making marketing great. He grew 10 feet, his beard turned wild. With mammoth wisdom, no longer a child. His eyes burned green with northern light, his voice could shake the stars at night. Then Mark the mammoth raised his head, and to his pupil this is what he said. Tyler, you have mastered the ancient ways. The lost art of persuasion, the magic of marketing. Your time is now, the world is waiting. Plumbers live in darkness, but you shall be their light. Go forth, fly to their shops, make them known across the cosmos. Mark raised his tusks and split the sky. A portal opened, a world passed by. Through time, through space, a rift was torn, and Tyler Williams was reborn as the mythical, fabled, magical marketing man. Now he flies from shop to shop, lifting plumbers to the top. Through Mammoth power, through ads so bright, he brings their business into the light. That was the tale of Tyler Williams, the marketing man. Ah!